Okay, so either we can focus on distractions or we can keep it moving. And since my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, I'm going to keep it moving. So to he who has ears, let him hear. I'm going to tell you the end game. What is the end game? What is all of this about? I'm going to tell you what the distractions are all about so that you are not fooled. Many creators have pointed out that we are in the midst of the biggest wealth transfer in history. Okay, so it's all about inheritance. And when you're closing the old books and you're opening the new books, what the challenge is to retain as much of the wealth as possible and to have the people who had the poverty as an inheritance in the old book also have a poverty as an inheritance in the new book. But we want to give you a fighting chance, and that's why I've come up with some very simple definitions of things that if you only remember the definition, you will not be fooled. Now, most don't know what wealth means. Wealth, according to the book Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper, the late great William Cooper, it is defined as resources and social energy. I think that's a pretty good definition. So wealth is not money. Wealth is not riches. These things are wonderful, but they are not wealth. Now, money is the primary trick that the truly wealthy, the elites, use to keep the poor poor. They are having you chase a medium of exchange. It's like thinking you have women because you have access to their DMs. You like, dog, I'm talking to 100 girls right now. But that's poverty because the person in those DMs does not have real women. That DM is not a woman, AI is not a woman, and money is not wealth. So let me give you a definition of wealth I want you to remember. I think it's going to be really helpful. Wealth is anything that has value when money no longer has any value. So if the dollar were to collapse tomorrow, no, today, what would still have value? That's wealth. So if you have a garden and you're growing apples, then the man at the gas station will say, hey, I can give you some gas for those apples. You have wealth. So if you want to get a pen and a paper, I've listed the 10 things that constitute real wealth. And I'm going to tell you why this is important after I list these 10 things. Number 1, family. Number 2, legacy. Number 3, safety and security. Number 4, information and know-how. Number 5, resources. Number 6, land. Number 7, property. Number 8, ability to manufacture. Number 9, talent. Number 10, reputation. Now, the dollar is bolstered on the full faith and confidence of the United States of America. But the rest of the world is getting tired of that. So the BRICS nations are saying, we don't want to play that game anymore. We want something that constitutes real wealth. Now, of course, this game began in 1933 when America moved away from the gold standard and decided that they were going to use fiat currency. But of course, this creates these bubbles, and bubbles eventually collapse. So if and when this bubble collapses and the global marketplace doesn't care about your money, what do you have that constitutes real wealth? Now, people who don't have anything will continue to act poorly, and poverty of mind eventually creates poverty of spirit. So it doesn't matter how much money a person has. If a person has poverty of mind and a lack of wealth consciousness, I just listed what real wealth is, then that person is going to act poorly. Now, of course, we have a lot of bread and circus in America that is designed to distract us and to have us looking at something and thinking it's wealth. But if you look at the average rapper doesn't really have family that they take care of. They don't have a legacy that they're leaving. They don't have any safety or security. People are always gunning for them. They don't have any real information or know-how. So aside of those raps, they can't really tell people anything that's valuable. They don't have any real no access to resources. The house that they built is on land that's owned by the government. They might have a little bit of property, yes. Some of them don't have the ability to manufacture. Stuff that they manufacture is manufactured in other countries. They may have a little bit of talent, and they may have a decent reputation until their reputation is destroyed by the people who own them. So if you're wondering why the hood remains the hood and the ghetto remains the ghetto, and why poverty is the inheritance of each and every generation, it is because we don't understand what wealth is. Now, countries that have moved to a communal wealth standard, those are some of the best places in the world to live right now. And places where black and brown people have historically lived, we have been tricked into accepting some kind of debt instrument as wealth, and they take the real wealth, which is the resources, which is the land, which is the people resources, and they use the real wealth. So we got to wake the hell up. But part of waking up is to stop worshiping the image of anybody else. And so that's the first trick that they play, is to have you worship an image of something other than yourself. And once that's done, they can backdoor you with just about anything and you accept it. So go back, look at that list, write that list down, and see how your wealth aligns with that particular list. And that's how you can tell just how wealthy you are. Now, you can have money, and money makes things a little bit easier for the moment. And you can have riches, and that adds to the spice of life for the moment. But neither of those things is true wealth. A truly wealthy person would be disgusted if you even mentioned money when you were talking about wealth. So think about that.